What's up, everybody? Welcome to the final round. I'm your host, Isaiah. Welcome to this breakdown of UFC Abu Dhabi Whittaker versus Ritter that is taking place this weekend, July 26th, at the Etihad Arena in Abu Dhabi. So let's get right into this. First fight of the night, we have Martin Buday versus Marcus Buchecha. This is Buchecha's debut fight. Martin Buday is definitely the more experienced in terms of UFC caliber. Marcus, if he gets to the ground, is nasty on the ground. Will sink in a submission as easy as can be. He's coming in as the favorite in this matchup, which is surprising considering he's a debuting fighter. Honestly, I'm gonna pick Martin Buday to win this fight. I think he's the better, not like the better fighter, but has more experience in the UFC. And if Marcus can't get this guy to the ground, he's kind of screwed because Marcus has one major skill set, and Martin, while he isn't the best or good or that good, he's more rounded. So my pick is Martin Buday. Moving on, we have Muhammad Yahya versus Stephen Nguyen. I'm going to pick Stephen Nguyen to win this fight. Muhammad Yahya has not found that UFC win yet. Lost his first fight to Trevor Peek, not the best, and then got knocked out by what's his name, Caio Fernandez, which was almost a year ago, a little under a year. But I think Muhammad Yahya kind of is a punching bag in terms of his style. When he's from what I've seen in the UFC. Um, and Stephen Nguyen, I think, is just a better overall striker. But this goes to a decision. It's close. Muhammad Yahya is from this area, from the United Arab Emirates. So it's a close decision. Do not be surprised if they give this to Muhammad Yahya. So yeah, but my pick is gonna be Stephen Nguyen. I think he can, find his mark and to get Muhammad Yahya out of there. Ibo Aslan versus Billy Alakana. I'm going to pick. Very interesting. I'm going to pick. I pick Ibo. Um, Ibo style, as we've seen, is just move forward, throw relentless shots, and just get his opponent out of there as fast as he can. And that worked really well for him in his first couple of fights against Anton Turkali and Rafael Cerqueira. But then he ran into Ion Lava and got submitted because you can do that type of shit against lower level type of fighters, not against the top ranked guys. And he's taking on Billy Alcana. Had his debut fight against Bogdan Pushkov. Started strong, but overall got beat by guillotine. But my pick for Ebo is solely because I don't think Billy should be up at this weight. When he fought Bogdan, he looked small against Bogdan. So I don't know why he's still up here at light heavyweight. I think he's just a bit undersized. And I think if he can't just get this fight to the ground, I think Evo's gonna take him out. So my pick is gonna be Evo Aslan by first round TKO. Amanda Ribas versus Tabitha Ritchie, one of our prospects. Very interesting fight. I'm going to pick the odds. I'm gonna pick Ribas to win this fight. Solely because I mean Tabitha is good, and this is gonna be one of the first prospects I'm going to fade because she is good at wrestling, but as of late, since she started dating Callum Walsh, she has started to become more of a boxer and not really the type of boxing you want in a fight. And I just think Rivas, having fought the better competition, um, while she doesn't have the best uh, wins, she's lost to the better fighters. And man, I can't say that. My pick is Arena Rivas. I think she gets us to the ground. I don't think Tabitha is really good. Her strikes are kind of like pitter patter, like 1-1-2, 1-2, not really doing much. And she kind of has abandoned her style of wrestling. So I'm gonna pick Amanda Rivas to win this fight by decision. Davy Grant versus Damon Blackshear. I'm going to pick Damon Blackshear to win this fight. Um, he is, significantly younger. He's 9 years younger than Davy Grant. While Davy Grant is, decent, he's had some, good couple wins. He's a pretty good guy, for these low level guys. Like if you're not going to break into that top 15, you're not really going to beat David Grant because he's kind of that guy right outside the top 15 that can push these younger guys to a decision or actually, submit them. So, but I think Damon Blackshears is too younger. He's too athletic, and he's on a tear right now. Um, so I think not Cody, Damon Blackshear is going to be able to get this fight done. Whether he gets it done by finish, I don't know. Davey has been finished before, but he is a pretty durable guy. So I'm gonna say Damon Blackshear gets this fight by decision. Muslim Salikov versus Carlos Leal. I'm going to pick Carlos Leal in this fight. Carlos Leal, I've grown to like a little bit. He got screwed in his first fight against Renat Fakhretdinov. Definitely won that fight. He got robbed because it was in Abu Dhabi. Um, and then in the second fight, he fucking knocked out that absolute bum Alex Morono. Fuck that dude. Won me a lot of money. I was so happy about that. But he's taking on Mulim Salkov, a 41-year-old fighter in the welterweight division. It's crazy. Carlos is 10 years uh, younger. Um, Muslim coming off a two-fight win streak against Santiago Ponzinibbio and then a Sinuio kick against Kenan Tong. Um, Muslim is decent, has the skills to beat, lower level guys, but I think right now Carlos Leal, the way he throws his strikes and the power he's got in his punches, I think we're gonna see Muslim go out. We saw Randy Brown put out Muslim Salikov literally a year ago, and before that he got beaten by Nicholas Dalby 2 years ago, so he took a year off. He's now becoming a more active fighter, but I think Carlson is going to be able to push the pressure on him, get close, take out the kicking game of Muslim, and then eventually just land the shots up top, and take Muslim out in the second round. Bryce Mitchell versus Saeed Nurmagomedov, the featured prelim of the night. Bryce Mitchell moving down to bantamweight. Interesting move. I don't know if. I mean, he wasn't the most. He was a decent. Wasn't the smallest featherweight, so I don't know why he's moving down. Probably due to strength after being beat by John Silva. He says. Then he's taking on Saeed Nurmagomedov. Um, Going into this fight, I was picking like I think Bryce Mitchell's gonna get this done, but then I forgot Saeed Nurmagomedov is very proficient with the ninja tokes, and that's what Bryce got caught with um in his last fight by John Silva. And the way Bryce shoots his takedowns kind of leaves his neck open. So if he does that against Saeed, he's gonna just sink in a ninja choke and take out Bryce. But Saeed, coming off a loss to Vinicius Oliveira, got pushed and got tired at the end of the fight. Um, I think fuck it, I'm picking a dog. I'm picking the dog. I'm picking Thug Nasty. I think Bryce Mitchell will get this done. I'm not picking a fucking Russian fighter. Even Even though Bryce has said some questionable things, I'm picking him to win this fight. Nikita Krylov versus Bogdan Guskov. I'm going to pick Bogdan Guskov to win this fight. Nikita Krylov coming off a pretty bad KO loss 3 months ago to Dominic Reyes. Not a good thing I like to see. A very quick turnaround after a bad knockout loss. And he's coming into this fight as a favorite, which really fucking shocks me. Um, and Bogdan, coming off of that short notice win over Belly Alakana, where he did get taken down and looked bad at the beginning of the round, but then reversed it, got on top, and sinked in the choke. Um, Honestly, I'm picking Bogdan to win this fight. I think he's gonna either knock out Krylov or submit him. Um, it still baffles me. Krylov is 33 years old. He's been in there for a long time and has fought a lot of guys. That's why he seems like he's a lot older than he is. But in fight years, instead of 33, he's actually like 43. So Bogdan, the younger fighter, I think I am picking him to win. I did say KO submission, but if Krylov can push the pace a little bit, I think we will see some holes in Guskov's game. But I think right now, I think he wins. Asu Amabaya versus Jose Ochoa. Very interesting fight. Asu Amabaya was supposed to fight Ramazan Tamirov, who is an absolute monster of a man. Um, taking on short notice Jose Ochoa, who right now is a slight favorite. One minus 120 for Jose, minus 110 for Asu as of right now. Jose, 24 years old. Asu is 31. People are kind of writing Asu off based off his last loss to Mel Cop, but what people are forgetting in that fight is that when Mel Cop landed eye pokes, he landed groin shots, and he got that finish. And all those eye pokes and groin shots led up to the finish. So we can't forget about that. And before that, he was beating everybody, by decision. Not really the best. Um, but Jose Ochoa fought 1 month ago, and where he KO'd Cody Durden, and that's a very good look. And before that, lost his debut fight to Lona Kavanaugh, which was on short notice too. Um, I'm going to pick Asu to win this fight. I think while I do like Jose Ochoa and I do want him to win, I think Asu's pace and pressure and his grappling is just going to be a bit too much for Jose. And I think it's just in the later rounds, it's going to wilt him and he's going to get more tired. And Asu's just going to keep throwing in the takedowns, throwing in the pace. And yeah, I think he's just going to drown him in his fight. And I think Asu gets his fight by decision. Shara Magomedov versus Marc-Andre Barriault. Shara, one of our prospects. Another one I would like to fade, but honestly, in this fight, I think he beats Marc-Andre Barriault. Marc-Andre coming off that KO win over Bruno Silva, where he dented his skull in. Um, Shara coming off that loss earlier this year in February, where he got just outpointed on, in the strikes by MVP, and it's hard to beat MVP in a striking battle. Shara is definitely a guy I have not really liked since his UFC debut. He really hasn't shown me much of anything. I have not been, other than the Armin Petrosian spinning back fist, double spinning back fist. I'm not really been impressed by this guy. He hasn't really shown anything. I think all these top 15 guys will beat him. I don't think he gets anywhere close to a title shot or anywhere close to the top five ever. But he's taking on a past his prime, on the verge of probably retiring Marc-Andre Barriault, who has been KO'd in all of his last losses against, other than his Chris Curtis loss. Um, but I think Charlotte is just going to be able to keep the distance, uh, pick his shots well, land his kicks, land his jabs, his punches. And honestly, I think he gets this fight to either a decision or a third round KO. I'm not too high on Shara, but I do think he beats Marc Andre Barriault. co-main event of the evening. Petr Yan versus Marcus McGee. I'm going to pick Petr Yan to win this fight, but I'm a bit wary when I'm picking him. Because as of late, he is coming off of two wins. The Song Yadong one very close. The Davison Figueredo one not as close, only because that fight was 5 rounds. And if you look at his last five, um, lost to Aljamain Sterling by split decision. Very close fight. Very close fight. He could have won. Lost to Sean O'Malley by split decision. He should have won that fight, but it was very close. And then lost to Merab Dvalishvili. Not close. Not close at all. Merab fucking dog walked this dude for 5 rounds. Landed the most takedowns shot the most takedowns in UFC history, and showed everybody. That's when everybody realized, holy fucking shit, Merab Dvalishvili is a problem. And then since then, he beat Song Yadong by very close decision, and then beat Figgy, like I said. So it's very, my problem in this fight, while Marcus is the older fighter, right, at 35 years old, he's coming off that win over Jonathan Martinez, where me and Jake and our other friend Juliano were there at 309, and we were very confident going into the fight that Marcus McGee was going to be able to put Jonathan Martinez lights out, and that's not what happened. He kind of won the first 2 rounds, and then in the third round, the leg kick from Jonathan got to Marcus, and he kind of just tried to keep his distance and stayed on the back foot, kind of, and that's why I'm not so high on him anymore, like I used to be. Because before that, he was knocking out or finishing everybody. And yeah, when you reach better competition, you're more likely to get less finishes. But I've kind of, and the one problem I have in this fight is because it's 3 rounds. I'm pretty sure, and in a 3 round fight, that does not favor Petr Yan at all. He always starts slow and takes the first round off, kinda. You kind of saw a little bit better of that in the Figgy fight, but not really. He always starts slow, makes his reads, and then starts in the second round. And if Marcus McGee can start off strong in this first round and steal it, it's going to come down to the second round. And if Marcus McGee can, you know, keep that pace and pressure like he likes to on Piotr for the second round, he can win this fight by split decision. And I can see that absolutely happening just because of how Petr Yan likes to fight. But I'm going to pick Petr Yan to win this fight because it's a big jump up for Marcus. Petr is ranked number 3. Marcus is number 13. It's a big step up. And Petr is that guy at the top where he was a killer, and then that knee fucking derailed his career. It really did. So, while I am picking Petr Yan to win this fight by decision, I am very wary, and don't be surprised if Marcus McGee fucking pulls this shit off. Main event, we got Robert the Reaper Whittaker versus Reiner de Ridder. I am unfortunately picking Reiner de Ridder to win this fight. I love Rob. He's one of my favorite fighters. He's absolutely hilarious. The interviews, the clips we see of him, hilarious, dude. But Rob's kind of on that at that point in his career, on the where he's near the end, in my opinion, and I think this is kind of a stylistic matchup that does not favor him because you look at his fight against Turkish 2+C, that unorthodox style really confused Rob and threw him off, and Turkish was able to finish him. And then against Hamza, it's Hamza. He got to the ground, and then he tapped quick due to the teeth. Um, I love Rob. I really do. but he's not really changed his style over the years. All these guys sort of know exactly what he's gonna do. Jab, 1-2 high kick, 1-2 high kick, 1-2. He's really good at that, like blitzing in, landing shots and then blitzing out, and that cost him in the Dricus fight, and I think this is going to cost him in this fight. Reiner's is also an unorthodox type of style that I think is going to confuse Robert, and I think Reiner's size is going to be visible in this fight. And if he gets a hold of Rob, I think he's just going to manhandle him and get him to the ground. And if he gets to the ground, Ryan Ritter all day is going to submit Robert Whittaker, no doubt in my mind. I honestly do think Ryan Ritter can give Hamzat some problem on the ground due to his jiu-jitsu. I really do. Um, Regardless of that, I think Ryan is going to get this to the ground, and I think in the third round, Ryan Ritter is going to get it done by rear naked choke, and yeah, that's my pick. And I think with this win, while it won't guarantee him a title shot, I think it guarantees him a title eliminator shot. And I'll see Reiner the Ritter versus Dricus or versus Hamzat. Both of those are marketable matchups, and both of those are fights I want to see. So, yep, that's the breakdowns. Pay attention to all the future breakdowns for the future events I'm going to be doing. Next week we got the Albazi versus Tyra card. Week after we got the Leadze versus Hernandez. August 16th is UFC 319 Duplessis versus Chimaev. So the winner of this main event is going to be watching that main event real closely. August 23rd we got Walker versus Zhang in Shanghai. Terrible fight for Walker. September 6th is Imavov versus Baralho in Paris. Hopefully Baralho wins that fight. And Noche UFC Lopez versus Silva. Good fights. Yep. Thank you all for watching. Like the video, subscribe, leave a comment, and remember, all the greatest fighters leave it all in the final round. Peace.